Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek podcast. We're back for the new year 2021. And what better way to start off the new year than getting some new MCU content in an MCU drought of a year and a half? Guys, before we talk about it, think about it. The last time we saw any MCU content was July 2019. Put that in perspective. It is January 15th, 2021. Let's get right into it. So if you guys don't know, WandaVision finally dropped the very first original television series made by Marvel in the cinematic universe that they have created. So some quick thoughts, guys. I just want to say I really enjoyed it. Over time, I got to digest it a lot more, and it kind of made me appreciate it more. So, Deebs, what are your kind of general impressions real quick?
Just to piggyback off you, Ryan, 563 days to be exact, but who's counting? It was really good. I think I'm going to be lower than I think both of you on this show. That being said, there's some world building and things like that, bigger arcs building that I'm going to be really excited about moving forward. I thought it was really strong. The vibe, the chemistry between Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen was terrific. Catherine Hahn's character, Agnes, was terrific. Top to bottom, casting, vibe, costumes, everything about it was great. However, I did have some negatives. Some of the negatives was it was a teaser. This was like the appetizer for what's to come. And we've been waiting 563 days. I understand Kevin Feige is not going to drop everything and tell you exactly where Phase 4 is heading. But long story short, Phase 4 is here, and let's go.
No, honestly, I completely agree with you, Deebs. I feel like we're going to get a little bit more into the episode count and the episode lengths in a little bit. But, Lo, what are your quick impressions of the very first two episodes of WandaVision we got today? As AJ just strokes his half mustache.
Yo, before I dig in, because I am so excited to talk about this, is this the first time all four of us are on?
Yes.
Been like
hell yeah. Huzzah!
It's been a good minute.
So as you could tell, I'm pretty pumped. I've had a pretty non-eventful day in terms of work, but when it comes to this, there's so much to unravel here. And if you didn't see it, me and Dibes had a little baby watch party of the first two episodes last night, or maybe like 10 hours ago. Long story short, we loved the format. I'm a big fan of Bewitched. I Dream of Jeannie. I grew up on I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
Oh, Lucy, I'm home. All that. Catherine Hahn, man. Catherine Hahn was wonderful, super delightful. I think when you do these smaller scale shows, especially for the MCU, I think it's important to have strong supporting characters. It was lovely to see Kitty from that 70s show. And overall, the vibe was fun. I think me and Dibes touched on this. I think the format was just enough for us to kind of get a feel for it, but also let it go. Because I think if we would have had a full season of that, it would have got exhausting. And overall, though, I liked the tension, especially at the dinner table when Vision and Wanda's memories were being challenged by his boss, Mr. Hart. I thought the tension was really intense. I also liked the trippiness from the second episode where, what was it? Wanda and that chick from the fundraiser club, whatever.
Yeah, for the children.
Sounds like a cult.
The strange cultish Stepford Wives vibe. It's really intriguing. And one of my favorite shows of all time is The Twilight Zone. So the more we do that and play on what's going on here, I think that's really fun. So what about you, AJ? I know you had a lot to say last night, man.
Yeah, I love this. It's been I mentioned this earlier, but it's been like 1,700 years since we got the MCU back. And we finally got it. Everybody was on edge for the longest time, but we finally are back with the MCU. In terms of both of the episodes, I thought it was really well done. I think for me, the one thing that I loved the most was the sitcom elements, and also getting like hints, tidbits, and Easter eggs within the MCU that goes along with the story. I felt like that they gave us, the fans at least, gave the fans those Easter eggs at the same time as it making sense to the story for WandaVision and for the future of the. I'm not even going to say phase 4 because Kevin Feige said that he won't do phases anymore a while back. So just the future of the MCU. I have a whole bunch of theories.
Me too. Me too, man.
Connecting with WandaVision, Loki, Quantumania, just all of that. And it's only been 2 episodes. So imagine when all this is done, everybody's just going to be it's going to be mentally exhausting for everybody once this is all over.
Can I say one more quick thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Lo.
Like this next phase or whatever you want to call it, this next era of Marvel, think of it as a hot tub, and we're dipping our toes into the water right now. Like, it's getting warm, but it ain't hot yet. So, we haven't dived into the hot water. So
that's actually a pretty funny analogy, Lo, because if you really think about it, every time we get a new episode, it's like we're dunking our feet and legs into the hot tub. But every time we get the movie, it's like when we dunk our bodies in the hot tub. And then we get out after a movie, we rest, we like to cool off a little bit. And that's when we get our TV shows. And then when we're ready to go back in, we get the movies. And I feel like, I'm not going to lie, I was really nervous when they announced this during 2019 Comic-Con when they announced the then Phase 4 MCU slate. And personally, it was really weird to see Wanda and Vision get their own TV show after not getting very much in previous films. I would say Wanda gets much more than Vision ever has. Vision's biggest arc was in, I would say, Age of Ultron. And then after that, he kind of got sidelined. Even in a movie that revolved around something in his fucking brain, he still became a secondary character somehow. And I'm just really glad that Paul Bettany really got to bring life to this character, because he only really brought the Android version. But now we're starting to get more of the laid back, kind of goofy whatever, because that's kind of what this show is going for. And I feel like now that we have TV shows in Marvel, it really breaks up the MCU format, comic book films in general. And this goes for the future HBO Max shows that are going to tie in with the DC universe, whatever you want to call it now, like with the Gotham PD show. And I just want to say, dude, it's exhilarating because we have no clue what's going on. Like AJ said, we're all trying to figure out what's going on, because honestly, at this point, everything's just connected. It feels like every movie we talk about kind of leads back to the second Doctor Strange film in the Multiverse of Madness. And Wanda plays a big role in that. And I really just can't wait to see what they do with this character going forward. I can't wait to see how Vision's brought back in reality, because it's very obvious that they might not be in reality, whether that's what you want to call it. And something I do want to point out before we move on a little bit, I really like how the director and the cinematographer of this episode go in between sitcom and suspense movie type framing. Like it's hard to describe for me personally, but you can tell when they go from sitcom to instant movie production. And I want to say they always go to those when it's the really suspenseful moments, whenever the guy comes on the radio, or when Wanda kind of realizes that something's not right when she picks up the little helicopter that's colored, and she realizes, oh shit, why is this colored in? Why am I in a black and gray world? But yeah, let's just go into, I know AJ really wants to talk about this, so I'm gonna go into straight away. What's some predictions going forward with the season? I'm gonna go straight to AJ because I know he's just waiting to tear this apart.
Well, before I get into that, I just want to mention that the MCU right now is starting to become like Star Wars in terms of people theorizing. I think it's starting to get on that specific level. So I think that's fun. But yeah, there's a lot to discover. Okay, so when we watched WandaVision, we got hints and like a logo of Sword, the organization Sword, within, I think it was the helicopter, seeing the beekeeper, the beekeeper, and there was one other one, I think. It might have been those only two, but I love that they hinted at Sword, which might also be connected to Secret Invasion and Captain Marvel 2. So I feel like that's cool. And Kevin Feige already advertised this many times already that WandaVision is connected to Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man 3. So right there's already like 4 or 5 things that's already connected to WandaVision within 2 episodes already. But to get deeper into it, with Loki, we're getting a TVA, which is the time variance. Oh God, is it association? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
TVA. But they're the one that monitor the multiverse and many realities, basically. And
wasn't that the guy Owen Wilson? That's where he's from, right?
yes.
Okay, that was pretty cool.
So my prediction is, or my theory is, that the TVA is watching everything unfold within WandaVision. But Sword is the one that is trying to figure out what's going on with Wanda. And I think with WandaVision, I feel like that Sword is trying to figure out who is behind everything. So who is behind everything in Multiverse of Madness? Who is behind everything in Spider-Man 3? At this point, I'm just theorizing as I go. But yeah, there's a lot to unpack. And then Loki is going to connect to Ant-Man and the Wasp because of the Kings, which is going to be incredible. But we're not going to get that deep into the theory. Since we're only talking about WandaVision right now. But yeah, I just think that WandaVision is going to connect a lot of things, and it's going to make sense of a lot of things going forward from Loki, Spider-Man 3, WandaVision, not WandaVision, Multiverse of Madness. And just everything is starting to connect with only these 2 episodes. And I feel like we're going to explore more of that connection and expand within episode 3 and through episode what is it, 9 episodes? So episode 3, episode 9. So there's a lot to unfold. Like I said, the theories that's going to start showing up is going to be on the level of Star Wars when Star Wars was up. So I'm so happy right now.
And what about you, Deebs? Like, what is your main, let's just say, thought on what's going on in WandaVision and what it could mean for the MCU as a whole?
Yeah, AJ touched on it with the whole sword concept. That was one of the biggest reveals that we saw in episodes 1 and 2. Like, this is the type of show that we're going to be sitting here and talking about, analyzing every little thing we see every single week. But yeah, it's clear that Sword is behind the scenes, but to what role? That's the biggest question, is like, did Wanda create this false reality herself? Is Sword holding her mind hostage? Is she helping Sword in one of these like barf experiments? Or what? Like, what if Dottie and Agnes are these like evil witches that are like literally holding her hostage, and Sword is trying to save her from this false reality, which might include Mephisto or there's so many different possibilities where this could go. I am 100% certain that was Jimmy Woo, aka Randall Park, at the end there. That was the voice. So that, I think that's like kind of the main draw going forward, is what is Sword's role in WandaVision moving forward? What if Mephisto is using, because so much of Wanda and her arc is about family, and it's just rooted through tragedy. And you saw it through these commercials. The bomb going off, her family being killed, with the toaster. You saw it beeping. That was the bomb with Stark Industries. You saw it. I think we're going to start seeing her subconscious surface through all these different false realities and kind of shatter that her whole false reality around her. And what another thing I thought, because family is so big, what if we see Mephisto using this false reality to have Vision and Scarlet Witch to have a baby, and Mephisto uses that baby as a vessel moving forward. That would be really, really cool.
Okay. So I thought about this early on, but I don't think it's Mephisto that might be pulling the strings. I actually think it's Dormammu that's pulling the strings. And the reason why I think Dormammu is pulling the strings is because Shang-Chi is coming out. In the recent run of Shang-Chi, Dormammu is like very connected within the lore of Shang-Chi right now. And I feel like that when Shang-Chi comes out, Dormammu is going to have that connection with him personally. And he's going to use Shang-Chi as a conduit to get to Earth, and just to, I think. So, gosh, my thing is
just hurt him trying to put all these
my brain is like
together.
really spinning right now.
I know. I see the
Two
episodes. We got 7 more.
My thing is, we don't know how far along WandaVision is. We know that it's after Endgame, but we don't know how far along it is. Also, with Loki, I'm talking about Loki a lot because I feel like that's probably one of the most important shows that we're going to get. Loki is really going to be connected to like time travel and stuff like that. And we don't know if WandaVision is going to be distant future where we'll get the TVA or Sword or any organization that can enter your mind basically with machinery and stuff like that. So for me, I think Dormammu is going to be pull all the strings, or this is going to be out there, but I feel like Galactus is going to be like the big villain that's going to unfold within the saga that we're in now.
You never know though. They could use Galactus after they use Kang the Conqueror. I feel like Galactus would be like the next step up after that. But yeah, AJ, I completely agree with you. I kind of got a different idea, but I'm also not as connected to the lore as you guys are. But like as you were going on about that whole Dormammu and Shang-Chi theory that you got, it kind of just makes more sense than I was going for. But I see it as, think about Catherine Hahn as the villain of WandaVision. We have no clue how we're in WandaVision, where they are, how they got there. We don't know how Vision kind of plays all into this. But what I'm kind of getting at is Catherine Hahn is playing as the, I don't want to say double, but the henchman to the villain that connects into Doctor Strange as the big bad that relatively breaks off into Spider-Man 3, whatever that might be, whatever film that connects back to Doctor Strange. And Jimmy Woo might be contacting Wanda because she's kind of in a trance and kind of in a coma that she can't control. And someone's giving her this larger than life character that is Han's boss, you can relatively say, the big bad, and try to take control of her powers, because we know Wanda is the strongest person in the MCU, confirmed by Kevin Feige. So who wouldn't want to try and use her powers to destroy the world? So I think someone's trying to use her powers against her by trying to trap her in her ideal world, because like you touched on, Deebs, Wanda hasn't had an easy life, or at least from what we've seen in the MCU. Her parents died before Iron Man. Then Pietro dies in Avengers Age of Ultron. Then she kills a bunch of innocent civilians in Civil War. And then she's forced to kill the love of her life in Avengers Infinity War. So maybe they're trying to play with all that pain and anger to try and blow everything up and cause this bigger than life problem that's always like an Avengers level problem for some reason nowadays. But yeah, that's kind of like my basis for it. I haven't gone as deep as AJ, but yeah, what about you, Lo? What is your whole theory on what's going on, if you've got one?
Well, I think it's fun to just really quick discuss my theory that failed I was telling Dives, I had a theory before this even started, before the trailers, before when this show was announced, just based on the title of the show, because I don't know if you guys know this, but like my roots is X-Men the animated series. That's what got me into Marvel. It got me interested in like learning about the comics and the characters, and in the X-Men the animated series, there is an episode called Mojo Vision. And Mojo is like an interdimensional being, a villain himself, and he had trapped the X-Men in a TV show of sorts. And funny enough, he trapped the X-Men to amuse himself. This show is like his show. He's like a producer, and he thinks it's funny to take the X-Men from their planet and put them in a show where they have to fight for their lives. He finds it hilarious. And I thought Mojo would be the thread to connect the mutants to the MCU. But cool. That's all moot. That's all out the freaking window.
But I think you're getting closer, because I think the way Kevin Feige is going to connect the Fantastic Four and X-Men is with the Loki series. The TVA, like I said before, it monitors multiple realities, multiple multiverses, and I feel like that Fantastic Four and X-Men are going to be in a different Earth. A different multiverse, just to make sense why they haven't been in any of the major events that the MCU has gotten us so far. So I actually think you're pretty close on how the X-Men or Fantastic Four are going to connect with the MCU per se.
Real quick, I actually want to. I'm glad you jumped in because you actually had a good thought yesterday when we were doing the live stream, or actually it was earlier today. Sorry, but you mentioned the Skrull, the Skrull program where you're examining memories, and I found that so intriguing. Like I don't know how, I don't know where, because we really don't know where Wanda is. That's the biggest thing. We don't know. And in my mind, when you said that, I pictured her being captured, but at the same time, I don't know who has her. But I
think she's monitored by Sword.
I think she did it willingly. But you know that dinner scene where the guy was choking and Mrs. Hart was saying stop it. I think that she was telling Wanda to stop it because of a defense mechanism. Yeah. Because he was trying to forcefully make her answer questions that she couldn't remember, so her brain just automatically perceived him as a threat. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's so much, man. But real quick, so I think Wanda's captured. I don't know by whom yet. I think Sword is a good play, but it also makes me wonder, like, why would they hold her against her will? Maybe there's a higher power holding her wherever she is. But I just got to ask you, AJ. I know you're like pretty much like deeper than all of us. What is the likelihood? Because my brain was twirling throughout the day. What is the likelihood of us seeing? Because you're talking about, okay, maybe the X-Men is from a different Earth. Maybe the Fantastic Four is from a different. We're talking about multiverse, right? What is the likelihood of we take these people from these different universes and we see a live action Illuminati?
See, I was thinking that earlier too. I think that we might get that. There's a high possibility that we might.
Think about everybody that's in it, right? Xavier,
also
Reed Richards, like.
Yeah. But I also think that Galactus is going to tie in everything. So Galactus, much like Thanos was a universal threat within the Infinity Saga, Galactus is going to be a multiversal threat. Will it be the first Fantastic Four that they get into? Probably not. It'll probably take like 2 or 3 movies to get.
I say next Avengers movie. That's what Galactus is going to be as the big bad.
I think that's. It depends on when Kevin Feige wants to do an Avengers movie.
I definitely think Kevin Feige has that shit planned out at least 5 years max. Will get.
Yeah, I think they have to explain the lore behind Fantastic Four and why it's in a different reality from the Avengers or from X-Men before we get deep into Galactus and all of that. But like I said, it depends.
We can really like dissect all this if we really wanted to.
I want to put this on record now. But I think Agnes's husband is Mephisto. Her body's being possessed by Mephisto, and it is SWORD that is using the technology from the scrolls to get inside her mind. And you see it with Monica Rambeau, who's Geraldine or something like that. But they're like literally invading her mind to save Wanda, and that is what's going on. And Mephisto is going to be the connective tissue to Doctor Strange and the Multitude of Madness.
I like it.
I like that.
And I don't know how on point that is, but I like the fact that maybe someone is in Wanda's head, right? And SWORD is trying to figure out why she's acting this way or something like that. I like it.
That's why I said that she willingly let SWORD get into her mind.
I think we all just kind of willingly agree that Wanda is captured by someone and that someone's fucking with her head right now. But to kind of lean off the theories about what's going on in the universe, let's talk into something that I think is a little bit more diversive, or at least I've seen a little bit more diversive on Twitter today. And that's Disney Plus Marvel shows, I'm going to categorize it as, having the Mandalorian treatment. Because Kevin Feige said that they took a lot of inspiration from the way that they handled the Mandalorian, from the weekly episode counts to the run times. And it's very obvious because the first episode's 26 minutes, 22 if you take out all the credits. Then we have a 29-minute episode, but it's really 24 minutes when you take out the credits. And then I think next week's 36 minutes, and then you take out the credits as 30. So you guys kind of get my point. It's kind of a wildly inconsistent runtime for each episode. And I kind of feel like the last episode or two are going to be around the 45-minute mark. But then we have The Falcon and the Winter Soldier that's confirmed with only 6 episodes, but averaging around 45 to an hour each. And I see a lot of people saying, do we prefer this as a longer show in smaller episodes, or have a more condensed show like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier with longer episodes? I'll tell you right now, I think they kind of robbed us of a feeling, because this could have easily just been one episode without the credits, because the credits were relatively just the same people, because they pretty much shot this, I'm pretty sure, back to back, other than like the obvious live studio audience stuff. And this could have been a 40-minute episode, just like a Falcon and Winter Soldier episode. I'm not saying that it's bothersome. I just find it questionable. But yeah, I kind of want to get your opinions. I'm going to go straight to Low, mix it up a little bit. What are your thoughts on having this wildly inconsistent runtime and episode count with the Marvel shows?
I'm actually glad you went to me, because I brought this up during our live stream earlier, and I just thought it was confounding for, like, what's the point of releasing episode 1 and 2 together and keeping them split down the middle with their own credits, and it's so short. Like, we could have easily had an intermission with the commercials and just like no episode 1, no episode 2. It could have just been one episode. I didn't understand the separation there. I understand the cliffhanger of the storytelling, but I mean, maybe it's just them playing into that format of the show, I guess. But it was definitely jarring in a sense that, like, I felt like it was just misleading. I felt like we would have gotten more than what we got from 2 episodes of content, if that makes sense. Because this really, it felt like one episode, but we were like fooled into thinking it was more than that. That's the feeling I got.
Yeah, Lo, I kind of want to add on to that. I completely agree. Whether I liked both episodes, I really liked both episodes, but I felt like I kind of got the proper conclusion to what I'm going to say is the 40s, 50s sitcom era of the show is kind of over since we saw at the end of the second episode. Everything went back to...
Oh, no.
Did he freeze?
Oh, I thought he did for a second.
He did freeze.
You guys see me?
You're good.
No, not anymore.
He's like slow motion.
Yeah, you're hesitating.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I'm thinking so. Hopefully by the next episode, none of this.
Oh no!
Go back. Leave and come back.
But
Leave and come back.
no. Okay.
Hey, Dibes, real quick, just do some filler on the same topic before he comes back.
Yeah. I pretty much echoed exactly what you said, Lo. This was a lot of filler, but it definitely went along with the sitcom concept, which I think is a hit or miss idea. Because how many young people have seen Bewitched? How many young people have seen the Dick Van Dyke Show? How many people know what the monsters are and all that kind of stuff? The good news is that it's going to go by error. So it's going to go. I can't wait for like the Full House episode or the Friends episode. So I think it's going to get more modern. And Lo, I'm not a big fan of like classics. I never watched I Love Lucy. I'm not really interested in that kind of concept.
So the Monsters theme song slaps though.
It's good. But I'm just not the biggest. It's like that whole concept isn't for me, but I understand it's extremely well done and the music was terrific and all that kind of stuff. My question is, how many people even know what it's referencing? So that like Lo and I understand that, but I don't understand if the general demographic would. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
Ryan's back. All right, continue, sir.
I'm actually glad I jumped in on what Deebs was saying because I want to kind of add on to that what I was saying before whatever the fuck happened was. But I feel like the 30-minute episodes with 6-minute intermissions are outdated unless it's a comedy show on like fucking NBC, I want to say. I feel like we've got so much production value in any content, even on YouTube now, that I just think it's inexcusable to put out 22-minute episodes, especially from Marvel. I definitely think this was meant to be one episode, but I feel like they wanted to give us the shock value of, guys, look, wow, you get 2 episodes instead of 1. Meanwhile, it was really just 1 episode the entire time.
Yep.
And I want to say both the episodes kind of had the same ambiguous ending with the radio. So it kind of felt like they both ended the same way and they could have meshed the endings at the end. But yeah, I'm going to shut up about that. I'm going to let AJ go on top because you kind of seem like you're scared to talk about it.
No, I was thinking of what Amanda was saying. She basically said that she thinks that WandaVision and She-Hulk will work better. And 30-minute style, 30 minutes because of its style. But the thing is, we don't know what style She-Hulk is going to be in. So we're not sure. I'm not sure about that at least. But the reason why I think that they stuck with the safer bet with WandaVision being like a 24, 25-minute episode was because this is their first time. This is Kevin Feige's first time trying to figure out how to write get their writers to write something that's what is it called? Not episodic, but more of a cinematic type style, where basically like Game of Thrones, where each episode is basically where the screenplay ends into the next episode. And I do agree that it seemed a little choppy of how he did it with these first 2 episodes. It's because this is basically his first time trying to make the MCU into a series type cinematic style.
AJ, I think that kind of adds on because if no one really knows, WandaVision wasn't intentionally the first project to drop. If you guys remember pre-pandemic, it was announced the Falcon and the Winter Soldier at last year's Super Bowl was supposed to come out. I think it was around the 20th of August sometime. And do we think that these two kind of swapping around and kind of getting that extra 6 months of MCU drought kind of changed how they went around the episode count? Because I know for a while, a lot of people were saying different episode counts for not just WandaVision, but for Loki, any of the 4 main staples that were announced in 2019. And I think that did kind of have an effect. And I do agree with you, AJ. I think that they split it up to take that safer approach simply because this wasn't originally intended to be the first series, but like I said, it's all speculation at the end of the day. Does anyone have any final thoughts on the episode count? Yeah, go, Deebs.
No, I do have final thoughts, though. Go ahead.
Well, I have final thoughts on that. So kind of like, okay, let's put a stamp on it. I just want to say, I think, okay, we take out the hot tub analogy earlier. So let's just imagine these first 2 episodes was the bread. We're at the table. We're about to eat. Those first 2 episodes was the bread. and then we're gonna start getting the real food. And I think, can anybody confirm? Do we know how long these other episodes are? Are they all going to be 30 minutes? Because
No, they're gonna play Mandalorian. They're pulling the Mandalorian. I think they're all just gonna be wildly inconsistent. Because, like I said, the second episode was around 29 minutes, and then the third episode's around 36, 37.
So interesting enough, like, what if we get like episode 5, 6, 7, 8 going into the 40, 45, 50-minute kind of runtime, I think, and they'll probably start giving us more of what we were expecting. I think that'll be interesting. I think now that they're breaking away from the format of the sitcom show, I think it's like open season, I think, in terms of what we're gonna see next week. So
see, I don't think it's gonna be like 4, 5, 6 episodes. I think it's gonna be like the last 2 episodes. I think the last 2 episodes is where they're gonna break that sitcom element and focus it on being more of a cinematic approach.
Oh, dude, it's going full Marvel movie in those last 2 episodes, and I think that's almost going to be guaranteed for pretty much any Marvel show. But yeah, I feel like we've covered a good amount of the first 2 episodes because obviously we got 7 episodes left, even though I feel like we've already talked about the entire season for some reason. But let's just get into some final thoughts, some final grades. I'm going to jump to Deebs because I know you've been talking about having lower grades than us, and I'm really curious now. What are your final thoughts, opinions, and what is your final grade on the first 2 episodes of WandaVision?
Final grade, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 for both episodes. It's kind of the same way how I looked at His Dark Materials, like solid quality, but really exciting stuff moving forward. Really looking forward to the world they're building. Final thoughts, I really want to see some more of these commercials kind of target the subconscious of Wanda. Like, what if we get a Quicksilver commercial where he's like, it's like a shoe commercial and he's selling shoes and it's right.
See, I think the commercials within WandaVision is going to tie in with their past.
Yeah.
Like we got the Hydra commercial with Strucker. So I agree that oh my god, my brain. I think that
WandaVision has just fried your brain, bro.
It really did. It really,
just fried you.
Look. I've been up for 17 hours.
I've been up
just thinking about WandaVision.
And you're a trooper, AJ. I respect.
And then I did an article.
Yeah, I'll give you that, bro. You pumped that shit out pretty fast. When you said that, I was like, what the fuck? No, but Deebs, continue, man.
Yeah. I think we're also going to get maybe like an oven mitts Thanos commercial.
You know, there's going to be a Thanos joke in there somewhere, especially with her rivalry.
Like I'm like thinking like Always Sunny, like the cat going on the piano, like
oh god,
like Titan mitts, you'll be smitten or something like that. That'd be so fantastic. But yeah, maybe we'll get like Thanos O's, like a cereal commercial with Josh Brolin selling cereal and doing like the finger snap, and that would lead into Vision dying. But I'm excited for the commercials. Would be really, really fun. That's my final thoughts.
I hope they make a joke where Wanda accidentally overcooks food and burns it to ashes and then winks into the camera. And then you see that overly glint like blink as if like, wow, thanks. But yeah, let's just jump straight to you, Lo. What are your first 2 episodes of WandaVision?
So just like real quick, let me just grade it hella fast. And I have like quick notes on what I felt from the first 2, but I'll give the first episode like a 9 because I just got to say it's not easy to write sitcom material if you get my drift, because there's a fine line you have to walk from like cheesy, fun, funny to like, oh, this is bad. So you got to like teeter that line of like, how far can we take this joke? But like, in my opinion, the first like 5 minutes of WandaVision is really well written. Like it's corny, it's funny, but it's like that's the whole point because they're on a show and and the jokes they had was funny. Like, oh, I love having an indestructible husband. You know, like those kind of things I thought was like well said and well delivered by both Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. And the second episode, I will admit, it felt a little redundant. It felt like this whole Alice in Wonderland thing where like fish out of water, like what is Wanda doing? Where are they? it got a little redundant, and I feel like we felt the length of that 50s black and white format in that second episode already. So I'll give the second episode a 6.5. But joined together, like it's an overall a good, like it's a good way to whet our appetite before all the craziness I'm sure we're gonna get in the next 7 episodes to finish. And I just say one thing about Paul Bettany, going back to Iron Man, you hear his voice and he's like Jarvis, right? And then he plays in Age of Ultron, he gets introduced as Vision. He was essentially an android, and I love that we get to see the other side of his character, because me and Dibes touched on this earlier on our stream. Paul Bettany was wonderful in Knight's Tale. He's got a comedic side that we really got to see shine in this show. And hats off to Paul Bettany, man. He's really a fun actor. He's really got a lot of chops and a lot of range. And I'm glad that this show gets to showcase that for everyone to see on Disney Plus and wherever the hell they're watching it. So I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see episode 3.
Yeah, I want to touch on Paul Bettany real quick, because I don't know if anyone's read that man's MCU story, because it's kind of wild. That dude has had I would say, the most insane MCU story out of all the Avenger actors, because he was only originally going to be Jarvis. Then he died off and didn't know he was going to be Vision. And he was homeless and was about to run out of money, I'm pretty sure, if I read the article correctly, when he just got casted as Vision and felt like it was a giant blessing.
I didn't know that.
Giant big role. And then he thought he was done in Infinity War. And then Kevin Feige was like, you actually thought you were done? And then handed him the WandaVision script. So I just want to give a lot of love to Paul Bettany, and he finally gets all the love and appreciation he gets in his own TV show. But AJ, what are your final thoughts and grading for the first 2 episodes of WandaVision?
I don't want to grade them.
Well, too bad. I'm forcing you to.
Okay. 9 out of 10. The reason why I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is because I am not a huge fan of puns. I hate puns with a passion.
Oh man.
I just don't like puns at all. Also the oh my god. The flow of the show was a little bit off between episode 1 and episode 2. We already talked about that a lot. It felt a little choppy. So that's the real reason why I'm giving it a -1 point to give it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, just overall, I just love how Kevin Feige, I don't know who the screenwriter is for the 2 episodes, but whatever they're doing right now is really making the fan base really hype. And I just love seeing the love for Marvel from everybody without any toxic or which is better type stuff. I don't really care about all that. I just want to have fun with it, theorize with everybody, and I think that's what we're getting right now, and I'm happy.
I want to piggyback off what Lo said. That's all I ever thought about was A Knight's Tale, the entire first 2 episodes. And there were so many times when Paul Bettany was when he was singing Yakety Yak and all these kind of things. I was just waiting for him to go and I present to you Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. That's what I was waiting for. It didn't happen. Maybe in episode 3, we'll see.
He's so great. I hate that he hasn't got his chance to shine until recently. He's awesome. And then you watch the Da Vinci Code and he doesn't say anything because he's freaking Silas, the silent monk. And it's dude, what the disrespect, man. But anyways, I digress.
This episode is longer than both of WandaVision, by the way. I'm just saying. This podcast is longer than both WandaVision episode 1 and episode 2.
well, didn't Mandalorian have a couple episodes in that 22, 26 minute range?
The Robert Rodriguez one was 20 something minutes, the Boba Fett one.
Honestly, I don't care how long it is. If it's above 25 minutes, I don't really care because ultimately,
first episode was 22.
Yeah, doesn't matter. 20 to 30 doesn't matter. I don't really care because ultimately, that does not matter. Let me finish. Ultimately, this WandaVision is going to be over 6 hours long, which is longer than a movie. So I'm not complaining at all because like I said, ultimately, it's longer than 2 movies from the MCU. So
Just give me character development. Just give me character development.
Yeah, exactly.
Something I'm really curious to see Marvel do is I want them to do a movie cut of their TV shows.
Somebody's going to do that for sure.
I feel like that's coming. Cut out all the bullshit, have everything connect with one another, and see how well that works as a movie. Because knowing Kevin Feige, he's gonna have it work both ways. He's gonna have it work as a TV show and then have it work as a movie at the same time. And I can't wait to see someone do that, because if they don't officially do it and put it on Disney Plus, you know someone's gonna do it on YouTube eventually, and it's gonna gain attraction. And what's going on, little dude? He's just like, he wants to talk some WandaVision right now, and I don't blame him. Yeah, he definitely liked WandaVision. And I gotta say, I want to give Marvel a lot of credit. And I'll be honest, I won't be as disappointed this year if we don't get the films as we did last year, because we just have a nice constant streaming roll, pun intended, of just the TV shows coming out. Because as soon as WandaVision ends, we go straight into the Falcon and Winter Soldier. And then once that ends, I'm going to assume we're going to get Loki in around May-ish, late April. And then we go into the What If. And then hopefully we get a film around that time, Shang-Chi, hopefully if everything kind of gets a little bit better. And then we start rolling into Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, and all those great other shows. But I feel like this is a great way to really push the MCU forward into new territory that we haven't seen before. And I feel like not having a movie before this, like Black Widow or The Eternals, like that what was supposed to come out before this, really allows us to appreciate this new style that they're going for, and really allows us to adopt to it, since we're getting 2 TV shows before Black Widow comes out now. And I feel like it's going to be really weird starting to see the comparisons between this two, where the flaws kind of start showing, whether the TV show does something a little bit better than a movie gets right. And to kind of tie in my point up a little bit, I think WandaVision kind of gets that right. It knows what it wants to be, while kind of differentiating itself from the MCU, because we've had 23 films, and how can they make themselves different? And I feel like Kevin Feige is really good at doing that, other than the individual episode problems themselves. But just to say what AJ did, I feel like it just has a few cut problems. As a whole, I'd give them both an 8.5 if I were to tally them together. I think this is only the appetizer, the starting point, as you might please. And
it's the foreplay. Let's foreplay right now.
This is Christian Grey talking to us dirty right now. That's how this is. And then I would say the ending of 50 Shades of Grey would be the ending of this series. And I think it's just...
We did get a sex scene.
Yeah, I mean, bro,
there was a lot of sexual tension in this show, man. I loved it.
The sex scene is going to be Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness.
Bro, they had mental sex, because she just appeared pregnant at the end of the series.
No, they actually did. They actually did have sex.
Oh, you're right.
They actually did.
They flipped it over after connecting the beds. But do we have any final thoughts on this? Well, final thoughts on the final thoughts before we kind of wrap everything up, guys?
Just give me Black Widow. I'm done talking about WandaVision.
Disney Premier Access.
I want Black Widow right now, so I can get my Hawkeye, so I can get my Haley Steinfeld some more, which is she is amazing. And Dickinson. If you haven't watched that, watch it, please. It's incredible. But yeah, Yelena is going to be in Hawkeye as well. That's why I'm saying give me Black Widow so I can get Hawkeye, because they're going to be connected. Yeah. Give me Gore. Give me Thor, man. Love and Thunder. I cannot wait to see the God Butcher in action. I love you, Kevin Feige. And Kevin Feige, we trust. There we go.
Exactly.
Man, I can imagine AJ just doing a real detox session after it. He's just like letting all his vapors out. He's just like, one with the Shang-Chi, one with the Shang-Chi.
I need Shang-Chi as well. Greatness. I really hope my Dormammu thing is right. And if it is, I'm the only one that mentioned it, because
hey,
I get all the credit.
We give you full credit, but where can we find you, AJ?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter all the time
Where
at
can we
AJ
find
Geeks
me?
5 Nation. There we go.
Are
All
you sure?
time
Because
movie
I know a
makers.
lot of us have just like a laundry list of places. But Deebs, where can we find you, my man?
You can find me right there if you want to. If not, no big deal. I love just talking this stuff, making theories. Making theories is literally like one of my favorite things in the world when it comes to comic book movies and now TV series. This is going to be a blast. This is going to be a truly fun time over these next 7 weeks. Like AJ said, Lo and I have said 1,000 times over the last couple months, in Dave Filoni we trust, in Kevin Feige we trust. I gave it a low kind of review, but I'm very excited about what we're going to see moving forward, and that is my final thoughts. Last thought. I need more Monica Rambeau. Come on, man. That was pathetic. I need more screen time for Monica Rambeau moving forward.
I don't see my Jimmy Woo supporters out there, but Lo, where can we find you, my man?
You can follow me on Twitter at Marcellus Durden. I am a happy, pleasant, like honored contributor of Movies Matrix, Geekly Goods, and of course this podcast, Suit Up Geeks. I gotta say, we gotta do this more often, man. All four of us just shooting the breeze, having a good time, man. That's what this is about, man. And just
I'm
geeking
free
out.
Fridays. I'm free, so I can do these
Hey,
recap
Yeah,
episodes.
there we go.
Finally
Hey,
free.
this is awesome. This is why I was so excited when we joined forces, man. The Geek Fix and Suit Up teaming up. This is what it's all about, man. Solidarity and geeking out over things we love. So I gotta say, this is awesome. I've had a great time. I can't wait for everything in store for us. I mean, come on, Spider-Man 3, Eternals, Shang-Chi, and you know what? Jimmy Woo, man, Randall Park. I love the Asian representation. So I can't wait till he comes into the fold, man. Like, I want to see more of that sword/shield action. I'm a big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guy. So I love it, man. Like, bring it. Skrulls, Nick Fury, whatever. Whoever we get surprises, Quicksilver, Doctor Strange. I don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know. But I think we have some surprises in store for us. The same way the season 2 of Mandalorian gave us surprises for Star Wars fandom, I think MCU fans are going to relish WandaVision for what it is right now. But what were you going to say, Dives?
You know, it's a good night for Loretto when he does his best Babu Frick impression. He goes, "Hey!"
Hi, Babu
I love
Frick.
it. I don't like it. I love it.
Before we end this, I just want to mention Eternals and how happy I am for this because the director is going to go deep in within manga territory, which means they're going to get deep within the lore of Eternals. And if you have not read the recent issue of Eternals, is only on its first issue. It goes into the lore and like the mythology of the Eternals and the different areas that it resides in. It's huge and it can be its own universe, which I really think that Kevin Feige is planning on doing, giving us an Eternals is basically like Game of Thrones, but more futuristic. And I feel like that's what Kevin Feige is going to give us. He's going to give us movies with Eternals. He's going to give us Disney Plus stuff with Eternals. It's that massive. And I just need Eternals as well. I need everything.
Can I say one last thing, especially being like the lone Asian guy on the show? Thank you, Kevin Feige, for giving us Chloe Zhao, giving us Shang-Chi. Like, I appreciate the fact that these talented filmmakers are getting their run and getting the chance to flourish in the MCU. Any other shared universe that wants to do this, take freaking notes. Get the talent first and let them do what they do. That's all I'm going to say.
Are we sure this is all that you guys want to say? I feel like it's just been
one
going
time
in
for the
a
one
ring.
time.
Oh my god!
It's literally
like Krusty the Clown. You sound like Krusty the Clown. It literally scared me because I hate Krusty the Clown.
Imagine this. We'll get X-Men versus Avengers within the distant future.
There's a lot of we might get another Civil War.
Life is good, but it could be better.
That's what I was thinking.
A new Civil War,
like a bigger scale Civil War, another Civil War, or like I said, X-Men versus Avengers, or
I mean, I think we're already heading there, but I just want Secret Wars. I think Secret Wars has to be the next Endgame. I don't know. It just
Two worlds colliding.
I need Mutant Registration Act. I need that to be a movie in itself. That's it. That needs to be a standalone, not a standalone.
Guys, it's probably
that needs to be
all happening.
It's all happening.
It's all, bro. I think we're at the point in our lives where we can just kind of say, yeah, Feige's just doing that, whether he's confirmed it or not at this point, because there's probably 20 plus projects that we know of, that the general public know of. They have up till 2028 planned, and we only know up till, I would say, the end of 2022, early 2023. So that's an extra 5 years of content, everybody.
You know, I love that you said that, because when they made Iron Man, I bet you they knew Thanos was coming. But did
11 years. 11 years.
Did we know?
11 years. It took.
We knew after Avengers
coming, let alone Thanos. But without a doubt, guys, everyone here is just fucking tired, and I can just tell that from firsthand because we've all been super early. I was up unironically and just watched it, but you know what? We all watched it as soon as it came out. And I got to say, man, it's really great to have the MCU back in our lives, whether it's in a shorter version. It's just great to see some of the characters we love finally come back to our screen, whether it's on the big format at a movie theater or even just on our homes on Disney Plus. It's nice to have some sense of normalcy of our past lives, pre-pandemic, back in our hands. And hopefully that I can start getting in on some of these 3 a.m. watch parties with you guys, because I can't wait to do that with my schedule finally cleaning up.
You guys take too long. I might have to hold off on that one.
No.
I was talking to Dives, AJ. We got to do it. If we're gonna do it, we got to do it when it drops. So if you guys are down, I will stay up.
I won't even sleep. I'll just do an all-nighter, because if I sleep, you're not waking me up.
That's me.
My wife will literally kill me. My wife will literally kill me.
I am down for the cause. Dives, come when you can, brother.
Yeah, guys. So without a doubt, always check out our more watch parties at this point on the Movies Matrix / Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. It's going to be a great time. Hopefully we guys see you on the next one. And we love seeing you on the MCU. And obviously, you guys just know where to follow me at this point at Just Ryan again. Not Bad Nipples anymore. Because something in my brain at this point in my life. But thank you guys for joining us today. And I can't really end this, so I'm going to keep talking until Deebs ends this, because I don't really like. You're not
Onslaught Saga, you guys. We might get Onslaught Saga. Just think of that. Just think,
guys, I just want to say Kevin Feige stole the plans of WandaVision from BVS Ultimate Edition.
What?
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.